had 2 matches already this season in Pro League. Both of them went all the way to the ace match, went to that 5th game. The team favorites still won in that final game. Today, we have a 2-0 lead, just like we saw yesterday. Will history repeat itself, Valdez? What do you think?
I don't know. I'm not so sure. I just feel like Dinner is playing really well. Both of their players that came out showed some really excellent games, and I think they prepared a little bit better for this matchup than KT has.
Yeah, well, they certainly looked very prepared in those first matches. By the way, if you guys come down to the studio, you can get English headsets. And by that I mean headsets allow you to listen to our English commentary. It's free, no charge. There's no charge to come to the studio. If you want to come here and listen to the Korean commentary, you're free to do that as well and get the full, Korean StarCraft experiences if you were like sitting in the audience as a Korean fan. But you can get a headset so you can listen to us as well. Don't hesitate. Don't be scared. We've got helpful people here who speak English, and
it's really
easy. That headset for free. So
yeah, we just got a desk somewhere in the back over there. Actually, see a bunch of people crowding around there. So
all you have to do
definitely
is
go do that.
Yeah, just come downstairs. As soon as you get down the stairs, take a left. You'll see an information desk. Just go right over there. Pick up the headset. You can listen to us, and be sure to come in and say hi to us as well. And see if you can catch the players that love taking photos with their fans.
Mm-hmm. I said this a lot last season as well, but if you haven't done it yet, definitely come down to Korea. There's a lot of StarCraft, especially starting up right now. I mean, GSL is going to be starting as well. And, you can just come down here and watch all that, meet all the people, the players, the casters, and get the full experience.
Yeah.
And also see Korea. Seoul is a great city, and so are the other cities in Korea. So definitely go do that if you guys have the time and the money.
Yeah, this year it's going to be 5 days a week, StarCraft 2, with everything we've got going on. With Pro League as well as GSL and SSL. So all 3 leagues are going to be going on constantly all together at the same time, never overlapping. So, there's so much StarCraft to follow. And if you want to be here in Korea, now is the time to be here. If you want to watch, all the great games live. And the studios aren't even really that far from each other. They're, I'd say, maybe like 10 minutes by train, maybe even less. You got to walk like 10 minutes to the station.
4 stations, something like that.
It's going to be a half hour pretty much max between the 2 of those. So definitely recommend coming down here. If you want to pick a location to watch StarCraft, Gangnam area is the place you want to go. Also a pretty good area.
They have a lot of hotels here as well, so it could all just line up there as well,
Yeah, so would highly recommend coming down and taking a visit. Well, enough idle chit-chat. It's time for Foxtrot Labs. It's time for the god of RTS, Flash.
God of RTS, God of StarCraft. He's got that downwards purple arrow. He did not show good games against Life. But, that does go into that purple arrow. It takes into account the last 5 games and how you're doing, so it's more of a trending thing. And I guess you could say in the past couple of weeks, he hasn't been doing the greatest. He's been having some off days, and he's looking to come out here the first game for KT in Pro League and take a win.
Yeah. Now, not only did he look a bit shaky, and he lost the match earlier against Life 0-3, but he looked uncharacteristically just weak. He actually looked weak, and I think this is a feeling that journalists, players, fans, everyone knew. Even Flash's #1 fan would say, that's not the Flash I love. And so, he has a lot to prove today. Now, Rogue comes off of the opposite. He was able to take a 3-0 victory over Sulky, of all people, in his ZVZ. You can see his win ratio versus Terran, 5-8. Not the best, but it was during a time last season where he was playing against mostly Protosses and, of course, other ZVZs. So he hasn't played too many ZVTs, and he didn't play ZVT in the SSL. So Flash definitely could take this one. I feel like it's pretty even. Could go either way.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one. I wouldn't give the edge to anyone here. I think if Flash shows up to play, I'd slightly favor him. But, again, that's still in question. We're going to have to wait.
And that's what this first round and these first few weeks especially are all about. We were ready to start, but Rogue raises his hand. So let's wait for just a second here. Let's find out if there's any issues. Flash is ready to go, man. He's got that Picari sweat cheeks going on. And he just winked at me, so he's ready to go. But let's see what Rogue's got going on here, because he's actually unable to type in the chat at this moment because we're in our special secret Pro League lobby right now that has special rules. And there's an error with his client, so it looks like some sort of mismatch there. So he's going to actually reboot StarCraft, not his computer. So I'll be getting into this one in just a moment. To mention to you guys again, Foxtrot Labs is the map. Our 4-player map with cross spawns only.
Yep. Spawns will matter a lot, as Moonglade does like to say a lot. But we're going to have to jump into the game first. We do have Sun typing in the chat actually here out of Rogue, so I believe he is ready.
He is ready indeed. It looks like it's time to finally get this one underway. Can Jin Air and Rogue clear this one out 3-0, or is Flash going to bring KT back into this?
Down here in the top left, in the red, the KT Rollster Terran. He's the god himself. It's Flash.
And his opponent to the bottom right, 3-0'd Sulky. It's Rogue. We also used 2 other aliases, Savage and Climax. Perhaps you know him as Savage from his performances in the 2012-2013 Pro League season. But if you're a more recent fan or a longer, more hardcore fan, you definitely know this guy is Rogue now.
Says if Flash wins, he's going to buy chicken.
Yeah, that's a good choice, actually. If Flash loses, he should probably buy chicken as well. So we actually have a proxy, and that's also I felt like I saw this coming. If I were Flash, 100% I'd 2-barracks proxy. Why? He 2-barracks proxied against Life on Sejong. He totally screwed it up. And if I'm Rogue, I'm thinking the last thing Flash wants to do against me is 2-barracks proxy. But I feel like Flash is already one step ahead. And I think this is the right choice. I like this build a lot. It's a map that's forced cross spawns, so you know where your opponent spawns always. And he's just going to put this on a bit of an off-center location on the right side, unlikely to be scouted, and very unpredictable. I mean, like I said, I feel like it's what I would do. But I don't think Rogue is going to be expecting this.
Flash just does not do this. He's known for being greedy from an economic standpoint. He loves to get that CC first, like we were talking about. Just loves to do, standard builds here. But he's like kind of taking a page out of Mars book these days. Just doing that 2-barracks proxy. And then we're going to get a look at this first-person view. We're going to have to see how Rogue does his build as well. He did go for the hats first, but he is putting down the pool before gas here, so it's not going to be super greedy.
Yeah, a pretty safe follow-up to that hatch first. And the SCV is going to scout and confirm the build order, which would be crazy if it was like a pool first. You'd be like, well, I guess they're just defend. I guess I'm playing against Scarlet. As we did see Scarlet go pool first against TY when he did that proxy. At the SSL as well. But
bunch of SCVs.
Yep, he's bringing, I think, 5 additional SCVs.
Let's see here.
5 more, yeah. So he's going to have a ton of SCVs here. He's going to have 7 in total to work with. And let's see how Rogue responds. He's not pulling any drones down. Oh, SCVs get sent home. He's like, oh, you're just going to let me bunker this? It's actually not bunkering either. It just lets it finish.
He may throw one down here. There he goes. Starts that. And 3 Marines so far. 2 coming out here at a time. And 12 Lings on the way. Yeah,
the bunker is so late. I don't know if he's going to be able to get this hatchery. He could get into a really nice spot here with the minerals. But that bunker, not going to finish. That's not enough Lings altogether here. He runs by. He wants to catch reinforcements. Well, this has been a kind of a weird attack here. The bunker was placed very late. He wanted the hatchery finished. Maybe he was scared that Rogue was going to cancel the hatch. And he wanted to make sure he could get it for sure. Regardless, let's talk about where we're at now. Lings go for a counterattack. They don't find any reinforcing Marines.
Oh, God. We got a Baneling Nest on the way here. He's just going to let that hatch go down and try to counter all in, I guess. Because he's got Lings towards the front of the base, and Flash, the only wall he's got is a bunch of supply depots. And, of course, he's got no Marines back at home, so right away the Lings starting to get to work here. Actually picks off an SCV. And that Baneling Nest is about to finish. That's
a small victory. I wonder if Flash will suspect the Baneling Nest because this hatchery was given up basically for free. He also saw those Lings at his natural, which didn't chase reinforcements. Would have been tough for him to get any. but he's already reinforcing this bunker wall, which I think just shows he kind of knows what's up. He's going to go ahead and kill those plates. And once the plates are gone, he can actually make a tight wall with the bunkers. Lings do harass the reinforcements now finally, so he knows, okay, there's no more Lings bothering his front anymore. There's not going to be a hidden Banelings there. But a huge surge of Lings with Ling speed finishing as they come down, do escape and run by, and this is going to force Flash to make some difficult decisions coming up here. He's going to have to send units home or I guess base trade, you know?
We have so many Lings across the map. He's going for the base trade. He's running in with all of his Marines. And we got Banelings here in the main.
Yeah, he doesn't see him.
4.
He doesn't see him. If he gets trapped here, it would be huge. He needs to target it, but it does get a hit. Oh, those Marines are so low. And those Lings rip them to shreds.
Totally cleaned up here. And back at Flash's base, we have actually this GG.
Jin Air takes the 3-0.
Unbelievable play out of Rogue. I'm actually getting chills. That was insane.
Very,
really nicely
patient. Very patient. And I love that he just waited till the last second to ran down. Had Flash have had a tight wall, had that creep had receded, would have been a totally different story. If you get the tight wall up and those Lings can't run by, then Flash basically wins the game outright. But the Lings get by. Flash has to decide whether he wants to run home and have to deal with those Lings constantly harassing, constantly running circles around him, or if he wants to try to base trade. I think the base trade is a good choice, but he didn't see the Banelings until it was too late. That one Baneling got a great hit off on those Marines, and that was all she wrote.
Yeah, man. On that creep in the main base, Flash, he knew what was coming his way. He had to just go for the only thing he had left, the only option he had. But I really have to hand it to Rogue. That was just unbelievable handling of that kind of build. He knew the timings. He saw the bunkers coming up. He's like, okay, I got 30 seconds. Here we go. Big swell of Lings run by, and I'm just going to go for the throat. Really awesome play. Gets the 3-0 here for Jin Air. And that's a bit surprising. A lot of people were thinking, you know, KT, the defending champions, probably going to be looking good. They bring their big 4, and they go down 0-3.
I feel like Flash he didn't make any huge mistakes in that game. Getting the wall up tight would have been nice, would have been great for him. But it was a really well-played game by Rogue. I feel like a lot of people are going to misjudge this game and say, see, look, Flash is looking terrible versus Zerg these days, but that was a weird game. He had a proxy that looked really good for him, and then Rogue just making some really quick decisions, very smart decisions, turning things around. So, looking solid. And even though Flash is on a pretty rough streak here, and he did decide to proxy again, I think we still need some more data out of this player before we can decide he's really on a slump or he's having a bad time versus Zerg in general.
Yep, definitely agree with you there. But for today's matchup, as we did say before, but if you guys missed it, Maru is able to take out Zest on King Sage Station, then SOS takes out TY. SOS really controlling that one. And then Rogue with a very nice counterattack there against Flash and Foxtrot Labs. So Jin Air Green Wings, definitely going to look towards them as well.
Poor stats, doesn't even get to try. And Cure is just going to relax, knowing that he didn't have to do anything for his team to take that victory. Our first 3-0 of the season.
Yep, quick one here.
Yeah, very quick indeed. Much faster than anything we saw yesterday, that's for sure. And I got to say, all 3 games looking pretty one-sided. The third game, the least so. But it's Rogue just making a really cool decision there. Now, up next, this is the match I want to see. SKT versus MVP. We've got Dark versus Marine King, Inno versus Center, Classic versus Seed, and Sue versus Younghwa. Old and new names all together here. And by old and new, I mean ESF and Kespa all together on the same teams, working together in one league, and MVP is back with a vengeance.
This is actually so cool to see this new MVP team. I know a lot of people are curious to see how well they're going to play here in their first matchup, and they have a huge opponent going up against them right off the bat, SK Telecom T1, and they're not, you know, not bringing their best players. They're basically bringing 4 of their best players here today. So
Dark, man, really looking forward to this guy. I know you're a big Dark fan as well.
I actually predicted them to be like the next big thing of 2015. We all did, me, you, and Moonglade did interviews for Team Liquid on that. So
yeah,
you guys can check those out. And but yeah, that was my pick.
Yeah, Dark, definitely a great player, very underrated player. Loving to use Corruptors, actually, in his EBT. Likes to change things up, and hoping we're going to see a little bit more of that on King Sejong coming up here a little bit later.
Yeah. The only other player that I wish I could see today out of SK Telecom would be Dream. He looked amazing. He took out Solar in pretty easy fashion in the individual league. But I'm sure we're going to get to see him more in the individual league and here in Pro League as well, because he's looking super strong.
Yeah, and I think that roster was also decided before the SSL matches where he proved himself, so that's something else to consider. He's a newer player on SKT. The only new player they're relying on here is innovation, someone who's already proven himself to be so good, winning Season 3 of the GSL, just looking insanely strong. No reason not to field him on day one, in my opinion. Also, we get to see Center coming back today as well, someone we haven't seen in a long time. And then, of course, Seed and Younghwa having a tough time all over, man. Can he actually make a big breakthrough performance?
I don't know. I mean, he just honestly has not been looking so good in a while here. But Sue also has got that downwards purple arrow, so that's going to be an interesting game for if we even get to it. You know, it is possible that we do not get to it and we have another 3-0, but we will have to wait and see.
Alrighty, it looks like it's time for the interview. And we're going to be hearing from our MVP. Can't help but think that it's going to be Rogue, but Maru and SOS both played incredibly well, so I actually don't know who I choose. There's Aphrodite, by the way, as well as Seed. Chilling over there. And we don't have the interview up just yet. I think it's going to be starting in a moment. There's SOS on that plane again. There seems to be some sort of delay with the interview. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Maybe it's tough to choose the MVP. Maybe they have to interview